Oh no! Are you gonna make me get the song out?
Well, you pulled it up.
Well, in the good old days of PC DOS or MS DOS, the crappy versions were the even numbers.
Yeah. Oh wait, I used to run DOS 2.11. Are you telling me I was on a crappy version?
No, that's an odd number.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
The point,
Well, what
the
about
point one,
DOS
the point 11.
6.0?
But the point 11 made it an odd number.
oh,
If
that.
it's 2.0, you were screwed.
DOS 622 was fine. Worked great.
I think they got the number wrong.
Well, speaking of DOS 6.2, what were we talking about? Oh yes, mass conspiracy theories. So what happened to Windows 9, I think is what we're about to go on. What's the deal with that? Because I thought that Windows 9 was going to be the good Windows. Because, I mean, let's face it. Windows ME sucked.
Oh yeah.
But Windows
Windows
XP...
Vista sucked.
Windows XP was awesome. Windows Vista sucked. Windows 7 was awesome. Windows 8 sucked. And so I was like, well, I'm when I was on Windows 7, I was like, I don't have too much hope for whatever's coming next, but I think Windows 9 is going to be pretty good. And joke was on me. So I think Microsoft skipped 9 just to prove me wrong.
You're probably right.
Yeah, they listen to me. When, Bill Gates was like, well, let's check out this show that I was invited to be on and see if I want to participate. And Herbie yammering away about, Windows 9 is going to be the good one. He's like, yeah, I'll show you. So I think that's what happened. So that would explain why they went from Windows 8 to, well, then there's also, does 8.1 count as 9? Well, no, because they would have called it 9. Were they developing a Windows 9 and skipped it because it sucked and just went right to the 10? Because a lot of times you'll have teams developing the next version and the version beyond the next version, which would probably explain why every other version's good and every other version sucks. I just need to get rid of the team that sucks and you're set.
Right.
But I'm probably oversimplifying things there. But I have read things that imply that oftentimes people are developing the next one and people are developing beyond that one. And I think it's more like you're developing the long-term features, whereas people are developing the short-term next thing that's launching features. But it does sometimes sound like they're developing Windows 8 and Windows 9 at the same time.
And 8.1.
And 8.1. Well, 8.1 was basically just an update to 8. I mean...
to fix it.
Which it didn't really.
Right.
But
that's the way that usually goes.
Because they read too many complaints about you and your rants, and they said, let's fuck him up.
Now, the other rumor I heard was that it was because there was coding problems with referring to a version number 9 because Windows 95 and Windows 98 were Windows 9X, and somehow that Windows 9 and Windows 9X was causing some kind of confusion or some kind of problems that it was just decided it'd be best just to skip that number.
Oh, because of Windows 95 and Windows 98.
Right, which is Windows 9X.
Right.
They're often referred to as Windows 9X. But basically, so there was already Windows 9 followed by other things that existed. Sure. And I think the rumor was...
that actually makes sense.
Yeah. So that might be what happened to Windows 9.
Maybe.
Well, it was kind of a dumb idea to go from, Windows 3.1 to Windows 95. It's like, that's not the number sequence, idiot.
Yeah, they went 1, 2, 3, and then they decided, let's go by the years. So we have Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows ME, Millennium Edition, which still kind of follows the year, but not really. And then they decided, fuck numbers, fuck years, let's just grab 2 random letters.
Right.
I mean, what the hell was a Windows XP supposed to mean? I never, understood. And then Vista.
Extra power?
Extra power, but extra starts with an E.
No,
I think what they were... I think they were doing is taking Windows NT and bringing that in, because you had Windows 2000, which was a lot like Windows NT, right? Only
right.
better.
Right.
Only better.
Windows, like, I think it was, yeah. Basically, you had your home versions and your Office versions, and the home versions were the Windows 9X line of operating systems. 98 was based off of 95, and then you had the Office versions that were NT, and it was discovered that the NT series was far more stable. And I really think for me that came to a head when more people were installing Windows 2000 on their home machines instead of installing Windows ME, which would be kind of like installing Windows NT instead of installing Windows 98, which was unheard of at that time. But Windows 2000 was quite popular to use as a home operating system in my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So the smart thing to do was to ditch the 9X line and just base both the home and Office versions off of the NT code. And so that's where XP basically ditched the 9X line.
So why did they start at 95? Were there 94 other versions?
That was the year.
Ah.
Yeah.
Windows 95 came out in 1995.
Right. They're doing it by year.
Which kind of makes sense, but then again, it didn't.
Okay. So, Windows 7.
Well, all right. Let's see. So that implies that there's a Windows 4 and a 5 and a 6.
Yeah, what happened to them?
well, no. All right. So before Windows 7 was Windows XP. So, or no, before Windows 7 was Windows Vista. So that would be Windows 6. And before Vista was XP, so that would be Windows 5. And before XP was 2000 Millennium Edition, so that would be 4. And before that was 98, so that would be 3.
What about me?
Oh, wait a minute. Well, no. You know what? This doesn't work out. Maybe I think 95, 98 ME all get lumped in as 4.
Well, there could have been a 4 and a 4.1 because they're similar.
Well, heck,
Windows 98 and ME were very, very similar.
Well, 95
it's just the one sucked.
95 right? And 98 were also very similar. So we got 95, 98 ME. If we stick with the home version, then we go to XP and then Vista. So that's 5 versions as we knew them between 3 and 7. So how do we break those 5 down into 3? I mean, now was Vista considered just a upgrade of XP and maybe 95 and 98 get lumped in together, or do 98 and ME get lumped in together, or do 95, 98 and ME all get lumped in? See, that's...
You know what I think you have to do is go into technical notes, something like Wikipedia, and that talk about the version differences.
Because
to say, is this a minor difference or is this like a major redo?
Because I think Microsoft was still using version numbers behind the scenes. They just weren't using them as titles. So Windows 95 probably was called Microsoft Windows version 4 if you go into code, or if you go into... Yeah,
right.
I mean, somewhere version numbers are still in existence.
Right. Info.
So where the 4 through 6 break down into the 95, 98 ME XP Vista line, I know.
Can't really include Vista. Vista was more like 7, a precursor of 7 and above.
I don't know if that's fair.
Vista stuff, a lot of the stuff in 98 XP didn't work.
Anyways, we should actually open the show.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. So let me go get the now, Brian. What kind of music would you like us to open with this week? You want to go with the same theme, or you want me to find something different?
Yeah, let's stick with the same theme. I think that'd be a good idea.
All right.
Yeah, people recognize them.
Well, we are tuned in again to another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
the show that changes names so often we had to put a placeholder in. This week, it's the Brian Show, or, well, whatever name Brian wants to come up with. And so now here's your host, Brian.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Venison, how's it going?
Quite nicely, actually. I'm quite stoned.
Oh, that's interesting. And Johnny, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Right. Not too bad. Should we ask Alexa what's going on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, Alexa, what are my notifications?
One new notification from Amazon Shopping. A shipment has arrived, including Lazy Susan.
Whoa.
Is that the name of a hooker?
I don't know.
I don't think she's very good.
Does Amazon? Yeah, right. The lazy part. Yeah. But maybe that's what you like. You know, it's all what you like, right?
Personal preferences.
That's right. You got it.
He wants to do all the work.
Right.
Yeah,
Of course,
right.
you got-
Fuck that.
You got the poor Patriots owner that's in trouble now because of. Never mind.
Never mind.
That
Moving
wasn't a
right
joke that
along.
was quite formed yet.
Need to work out that one a bit.
Right. And you could piss off a Patriots fan.
Ah,
Maybe,
fuck the
maybe
Patriots.
Right. I'm going to adjust my mic, see if this will.
Well, I guess while you adjust your mic, I can try, but it basically go. So I don't remember saying this. I'm not denying saying it, but apparently at some point I said I'm the host, and you know I did start the show, so I'm kind of the host, but I don't mean to be possessive about the show. And so I was like, well, hey, you know, Brian, if you want to be the host, you know.
Well, see, the thing is, when you dropped that line, I'm the host, I picked the topics, and I forget what Venison was even bringing up. I just thought it was kind of weird because you've never done anything like that before. And the other part of it is that Venison didn't even bat an eye. Of course, we can't see him, but there was no response to it. But you shut down a topic that he was going to come up with. Venison, do you remember that?
There were so few. There were so many.
We tweeted about it, and you said you didn't remember it, which that's cool.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't,
maybe he blew it off, and I just thought it was peculiar. That's all.
I know at times I can recall at times in the past blowing off topics, but that was more along the line of like Venison or Neo would send me 5 different links and 5 different topics, and I'd look through them and I'm like, well, these 3 look really interesting, these 2 I'm not sure what to do with, and in that sense I would pick the topic and try to make a good conversation out of it. And sometimes I got shit for, well, what about these other links I sent you? And it's like, well, yeah, but I had 10 links coming at me this week, and I had my own stuff I want to talk about. Let me pick amongst those. But that's that. I think a few weeks ago, Venison was rambling a lot about some things, and so I think at some point I was just like, okay, that's enough of that. Let's move on.
No, it wasn't rambling. You asked me how my week was, and I tried to tell you how terrible it was.
And we got the idea about 40 minutes into that.
Yeah, bullshit.
I may have uttered a phrase like that. Oh, I picked the topics and let's do this, and it came across poorly. And so I decided, well, it's only fair if I say, well, we'll let Brian be the host. And
yeah. See if I suck at it worse than you do.
Got to really try.
Talk about.
But no, the whole idea is just having fun, right? No big deal.
See?
Oh yeah. So you did put a poll out there. or a hashtag. You
Yeah,
you went to
right.
the Twitters.
That's right. Went to the Twitters, suggested, hey, let's come up with some topics. Yeah, IH, I can't even remember it. ITH topic, which is insert title here, topic,
Right.
and hit that hashtag, and it comes up with. Let's see if it came up with any. It came up with one. Oh, wait a minute. That's my original tweet. Now, I did get a response to the tweet, which is from you that suggested a video game TF.
Yeah, I said, two letters, TF, as which is the official show topic, and you interpreted that
right
as Team Fortress.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, Team Fortress. Great game, right?
Well,
it's a first-person shooter, so
I've heard of it.
Right.
Never played it.
I don't know. Well, you know what? Maybe the topic is, which would you rather try, Team Fortress or titty fucking?
right. Although, I think it was the Urban Dictionary just said the fuck. but who the heck uses that? I mean, it is WTF, right?
Right. Yeah. There's a shortened version. Sometimes you just don't have time for a what.
Right, because it's a whole letter. Of course, then again, the orange asshole says, Tim/Apple, because, that's too many letters. And he had to actually explain that in a tweet recently. It's just hilarious. Dude, we've already made fun of you, man. Don't try to work your way out of this.
I didn't realize he tried to explain the Tim Apple thing. I mean,
yeah, that was like today.
It didn't need an explanation. He's just an idiot. I mean, that's
right, right.
You don't have to explain that to us.
Right.
We got it.
Or okay. I mean, all right, you made a shortcut, but we're going to make fun of you anyway, right? It doesn't matter.
Even more.
Okay, then Face Schwartz. Do you know Face Schwartz from?
He's something of an enigma.
Okay.
For a while, we thought he was Addy, and then he called in and he wasn't Addy. But now Addy's claiming to be him. But then Addy.
Oh, that's excellent. That is excellent. So anyway, so he tweeted a response, but he didn't use the hashtag because hashtags are for nerds. Right?
We don't have time for a W. We definitely don't have time for all those letters.
Right. Anyway, so I posted an article about, and this is just the headline and it's from the New York Post. Woman raped and burned. Raped and burned, kills the attacker by dragging him into the flames. So she was badly burnt, yet he died from the burns.
There's some justice there.
Yeah, right. Certainly justice. My response was justice, punishment that fits the crime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
who's up for that?
I bet you they throw her in jail for murder. Because the victim always gets victimized.
I don't know. That seems to be a clear-cut case of self-defense right there.
Oh, of course. There were a lot of cases of self-defense. But people still got thrown in jail anyway.
Well, we'll have to follow up on that.
Yeah, keep an eye on it.
Well, I'm looking at this article, and it describes more detail that he poured the kerosene on her, set her on fire.
So he started the fire that he burned in. So
yeah, right.
They can't
and all she did is just, threw him into the flames. And there's no follow-up whether she was charged with any, but she was talking to the police, so anyway.
My guess is she ain't charged with anything. No, I was I've started listening to the podcast Serial, and I was listening to a case to basically season 3. They spend a whole bunch of time in the Cleveland courthouse to basically kind of get an idea of how the wheels of justice work and how that system whole works or doesn't work. And the first episode was about this woman who went out to a bar. Some guy was slapping her ass. After about 6 times of this, she, kind of gets in the guy's face and is, telling him to stop. And then some other girls on the other side of the bar see this and they get in her face like, oh, no, you don't. And at some point, it starts to become something of a barroom brawl. And a police officer comes in to break it up. And the victim, the woman whose ass got slapped that started this whole thing, turns and accidentally punches the cop in the face.
Oops.
And out of this fight, the only person that gets charged with anything is the victim that had her ass slapped by all these creepy guys because she was charged with a felony for assaulting an officer.
Of course.
And now
she was charged with a felony for that? Jesus.
Assaulting an officer. And,
Right.
and the prosecutors don't want to drop it because professional courtesy to, when it comes to
Right.
law enforcement. And it was just so bizarre. I mean, they had video evidence of how this unfolded. And it was like, this is not a case. This is, and so they eventually plead it down. She pleads guilty to a much lesser crime because 95% of crimes don't go to trial. You just plead guilty to something lesser even if you're innocent most of the time, which
Right.
how is that justice? You hear these
this
things.
is the way we do it. Right.
This is not justice. This is
No, I agree. I agree.
We have a broken system. And the way everyone in the courtroom kind of treated it was like, well, that's done with. Well, she got off. Yeah, well, that ends well. Yeah, well. But she ends up with like a $500 fine, $700 in court's fees. She spent 4 days in jail before she could post $500. Well, it was a $5,000 bond, so she had to pay $500 to a bail bonds that she never sees again. This
Plus the fees.
right, $500 to get out after spending 4 days in prison. $500 fine, $700 in court fees. All this because she accidentally hit a cop after being victimized in a bar. This is justice?
Yeah, it sucks. And there's tons of other cases like that. Or
Yeah. I mean, and this is not portrayed as an extreme or, this is kind of like just another day in the court system. I didn't mean to take over here, but you want to talk. But that was something that was on my mind lately when the topic of justice comes up. Is
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It keeps the conversation going, right?
right?
So, Venison,
Oh.
what do you think? What do you think?
God. No, I just saw something on Twitter that was rather shocking. And I can't believe they would. Man, why don't these people get brought up on sedition charges or something? Fox News says child rape is a joke, and Americans don't care about it because leftist mobs and blah blah. This isn't just state TV; it's moral depravity. They don't care about child rape? You
Wait.
serious?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Are you tweeting this link or retweeting this?
Oh, I actually did retweet it because this is amazing. That was just a reply sort of this. Nobody cares what Tucker joked about. Tucker.
Oh, this
Carlson.
was that Tucker deal. 'Cause I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
tweets about Tucker, but I didn't see what he was saying.
Yeah.
Who's Tucker?
He's a Fox News asshole.
Oh, I don't watch
He
fake
makes
news.
Hannity look like a good guy.
Wow, that's That's a special talent there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, child rape is a joke, and Americans don't care about it. That's what he thinks. Yeah, right.
Right.
No.
Well, there's that representative from Alabama that says, "Oh yeah, we should get rid of rape because it's just a fake deal, and we want these pregnancies anyway." You do?
God. Like I said, sick people you all voted for.
Right.
So do we have more information about what it was Tucker said? So Tucker trying to? I don't.
He's trying to diss, rape and shit.
All right, I'm going to Google Tucker rape and see defended statutory rape. Is that what we're talking about? This is 2015. Oh, this is a guy that said that statutory rape was not a big deal or something to that effect?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know.
These guys are messed up.
We are picking some
Right.
uplifting topics this week.
Wow. Raping kids is okay, according to them.
The views of Tucker do not reflect the views of
Right.
Anybody.
anybody else.
God.
Well, I mean, part of that could go to underage sex, right?
And
You have
No.
two teenagers that are just, shall we say, not old enough legally, and they're doing it. What do you really do about it?
and that's
Well, they came across a case like that, but they found child porn on this kid's laptop, and went to court and all that. But the judge said, these are from people from his age group, his peers, and there's not a law against that. Something to that effect.
that
I think they changed the law afterwards, but
and that's probably something that varies state to state, age to age,
Absolutely.
judge to judge.
Well, states are talking about the age for marriage. I can't remember which one they're talking about. Oh yeah, it's okay to be married at 15.
yeah.
Of course, Jerry Lee Lewis married a woman that was 13 and found that he wasn't invited to perform in France because they look very dimly to the underage marriage,
Yeah, that.
which of course is back in the 50s. So this is not exactly a new topic.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that.
Right.
Yeah,
and of course,
really.
he wasn't 15 years old or whatever.
No.
He was. So, yeah, not a good idea.
Now, here's the question: how did that marriage end up? Did they stay married for the remainder of?
I believe no. And I don't know how long it's. I had read it once, but
I mean, there are times that cases that buck social norms do pan out for the people involved. That doesn't mean that one should endorse them, but
yeah.
there's also the saying different strokes for different folks, which was a classic sitcom. So, I mean, that's a difficult topic, which is why there's so many different policies or different state by state. It seems like no one can really agree.
They're trying to protect themselves.
Well, and the feds haven't addressed the issue to, shall we say, make it even. They just don't want to go there. Let the states worry about this problem. They're good. They're going to be the ones that enforce it.
Right. It's a state issue.
Right. We could argue that marijuana legalization is a state issue.
Well, the states are making it a state issue, but
Right.
it's still federally illegal.
Right. And hopefully that will change soon.
And you think anyone's going to do that anytime soon? I mean, I don't know. We got such
At least
gridlock.
some big name politicians are talking about it. Kamala Harris has talked about it openly. And of course, she didn't say, "Oh yeah, in college, I just passed the joint around. I did not inhale." She out and out says that she was high, willing to take the crap for that.
Oh boy, is she ever!
So who do we like for 2020? If we're going to go into politicians,
That's a good question. So like today, my news feed is full from this person that responded to. There was a poll out there suggesting what's her name from the Queens. AOC is her.
yeah. Oh, I know
So
who
there
you're
was
talking
a
about.
suggestion that she would be paired with Bernie Sanders running for president. Of course, she's only 29, so she's not eligible. And of course, he's an old white guy. And I tweeted, hey, and I basically tweeted that. She's underage and he's overage, as far as I'm concerned. And it's just a statement. And I'm getting all of this stuff, this one person with this article and this article and this article, how popular Bernie is and stuff like this. Okay. I was just making kind of a joke, as were a lot of other people.
I mean, now she's underage. That's a legal problem right there. So popular as she is,
that won't happen. Right.
right. She's got to wait her turn,
Right.
and keep doing what she's doing right now.
Right.
Is Bernie too old? I mean, that certainly is a concern. And there is the thought that if Bernie were to get into the White House, and if Bernie were to do a good job and be someone that would get reelected, I don't think Bernie has 8 years in him. So, we are looking at the likelihood of a vice president taking over, which is that a horrible thing? Do we want to rule out Bernie just because
Because
he's
he's older.
in good health right now?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't even think.
And I don't look at it as a disqualification. I just think, people should talk about it. I mean, they talked about LBJ as vice president under JFK.
Mm.
Well, he turned out okay. Ironically, if he was reelected, if he got reelected, he could have died before he ended his term. But what difference does it make? There's always the other guy, which is why we have this system.
Right.
We have a built-in survivor.
Right. So it shouldn't even be that. If you like the candidate and you like the running mate, I guess it's an issue if you don't like the running mate.
Well, pick a better one. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Sarah Palin was not a good choice.
No, she was not. That was
that joke.
I think that was a plain old simple case of who can we get that's a women's. There's a governor up in Alaska. We can get her to speak a few lines and sound intelligent. And
well, the thing is, they barely spoke to her.
Yeah,
they should have brought her down, spent a lot of time with her to say, "Is this the person that we want on the ticket?"
Just like Trump, because she is kind of like that. Crazy and not quite centered in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But it's different because she was quote unquote the VP. You know, we've had goofy VPs before. I
Spiro
thought,
Agnew.
well, but he didn't come off as being, let's just say, stupid. Okay.
You should have seen the poster I got of him in the, what was that year? 70s, I think.
I wasn't there
When they were elected, or
Yeah, when he was vice president.
68, Sparrow became the vice president, or was elected vice
Yeah.
president with Nixon.
Yeah, I've seen, like I said, I've seen a poster, a joke poster of him, and I picked it up. It
Well,
showed
he
Super
was controversial and he was hated. I never
Yeah.
thought that he was stupid.
Like I said, it was Super Agnew in a Superman costume
Right.
with a, with a big, drug needle in his neck.
Of course, there's all kinds of things that were said about Dick Cheney. Right.
Well, he was running the show. I mean, Dick Cheney told
Or at least his part of it, yeah.
Yeah, no, he was.
Now then you have Dan Quayle, and he came off as an idiot.
He did.
He had a lot of gaffes.
And his
He
spelling-
makes, he makes Biden look like a good guy. And I have no problem with Biden. He's kind of good with the gaffes, but not like not like Dan Quayle.
I just remember when Tiny Toons featured Dan Quayle because they were doing a cartoon about how to get a law passed, and so they wanted to go talk to the president, who was George Bush Sr. at the time, to see about getting a law passed. And so they go to the White House, and they're told that he's not there. And so they're sitting on the front steps of the White House, as of course security would let two cartoon bunnies do at any time in the day. And they're like, "Well, what are we going to do now?" And Dan Quayle peeks out the window and goes, "It's Buster and Babs Bunny! Oh my God, Buster and Babs Bunny are visiting the White House!" And he's all excited and happy. And then he's like, showing off his toys in his room to them, and. And he told them, well, no, he's George Bush is over in Camp David. So they go over there, and George Bush is there standing in a swimming pool with a fishing pole. I'm going to catch a fish. Yes, I am. I'm going to. And he explained, well, I can't pass a law. Congress has to pass a law, and then I sign it. And so, so on. You get the idea. But the whole that I think summed up the public's view of Dan Quayle.
I'm just a bill sitting here on Capitol Hill.
Something like that.
Oh God, I miss that show.
What, Schoolhouse Rock or Tiny Toons Adventures?
Both,
Okay.
but they won't allow it on TV anymore.
Oh, of course they will.
It's too non-PC, and they say a lot of things are rude. And
I think Tiny Toons probably still reruns somewhere.
I said fingerprints.
No, that was.
I don't think so.
That was the Animaniacs, but
Yeah.
same idea.
Same idea.
Fingerprints. I don't know if Brian knows what we're talking about.
No, that one's slipping by me.
There was this great cartoon, The Animaniacs, with the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister Dot. And, they're these goofy cartoon characters that get all kinds of hijinks. And for some reason in the episode, they're being detectives. And so Yakko or Wacko is, one of them's telling the others, do this, do that. And so, basically he tells Dot, go check for prints. And she comes back with Prince, as in the artist. And says, I found a Prince.
You froze for a second there.
Okay. So they sent her to go look for Prince because they're being
Right.
detectives. She comes back with Prince, the artist. And he says,
Oh,
"No,
Prince. Yeah,
Prince."
Right.
And he said, "No, fingerprints." And Prince gets a smile on his face, and she looks at him and goes, I don't think so.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Takes a while.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
It didn't take a while when you first heard it.
Fingerprints.
Or
Like,
just it's better in the context.
Oh, you know
Because
what?
you got the setup right.
Okay. Who cares
They
about
sort of
copyright law?
lost
Let's
there.
find this.
Hello, nurse.
Hello, nurse. Oh, okay. All right.
Good night, everybody.
Let's take it over to the YouTubes.
Number 1 sister, dust for Prince. Dr. Wacko, it could be a long night. Better order some pizzas.
I'd like 42 pizzas, 6 with no crust.
Now, do you have any enemies?
No.
Do you have any creditors?
No.
Well then, do you have any requests? Thank you so much. Way down Jack, upon the Nile River, Jack.
I found Prince!
No, fingerprints.
I don't think so.
Classic
I don't
cartoon.
think so.
I don't think so.
Oh man.
Fingerprints.
Oh yeah. Who was between Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, and Pinky in the Brain? Who came up with some of the most disturbing quotes?
Are you pondering what I'm pondering? Yeah, I think so, Brain. But where are we going to find rubber pants in our size?
I think so, Brain. But this time you wear the tutu.
I think we've lost Brian though, and this is his show this week. So what are some of your favorite cartoons?
I can sit in awe.
This is reminding me when we would go on walks and Nick would bring me up to speed on what I had missed on all my children for the past 5 to 10 years that I hadn't been watching. And
Right.
and Brian's just like, who are these people they're talking about? I mean it probably came off as a conversation of us catching up on long lost relatives as if we're family that haven't seen each other in a number of years. And it's like, well, so-and-so married so-and-so, and so-and-so ended up dead in the fridge because so-and-so... And you're just like, they both get this?
Well, and then of course he would go off in excruciating detail of Dexter.
Oh yeah, well that we both.
You know, I hate it when someone goes on and on about show that you don't watch, and they have to keep saying, "You got to watch this. You got to watch this." Well, you're just telling me about it, so I don't need to anymore.
Yes, he did. He did want us to watch Dexter. I don't think there's any time we went to Wendy's without the topic of Dexter coming up.
Right. Well, that was what he was into, so
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I can't really blame him, but you know, pick your audience.
Well, it was either that or the Orchids.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Whoops, salt. Yeah, I'm making a burger.
Wait, who's he telling? Who are you telling about the burger? Are you telling us?
Yes,
Okay, he's making a burger. Munchies.
because I was in the kitchen. And it's starting to come out yummy. Double cheeseburgers. Oh, yeah.
All right.
So I bought a bar.
You bought a bar. Tell us about your bar.
Okay, I can talk about that if
Yay.
yeah. And I did. I co-hosted the Dune and Bob show from my bar, and I could actually try to bring up the footage of that, and it's that way you could see the bar in all its bar glory. So let me see if I can find the clip. because Dune had some audio problems, and I had some audio problems because I was hosting the show over an iMic card and laptop from the bar downstairs instead of on my main machine up here. And but we had a good time. And now I can, mix drinks at the bar instead of mixing drinks at the, kitchen counter like a heathen. And so.
Now, do you have a little fridge in the bar?
No, but it's not far from the kitchen, so the fridge
okay.
is nearby. So let's see here.
You notice the lights flashing here, and I've lost.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to look for where the sound where the show starts.
Yeah, and I missed it because I forgot.
Yeah, well, it happens. All right, so I'm going to.
Stoned and I missed it.
We only do it every Sunday for how many years now? But that's okay. So we.
There it goes. And make this day perfectly happy indeed. Come on now, everybody stand up, get your voices good and ready, and let's all sing along.
This is you killing me, Johnny.
No.
I die a little bit. I die a little bit when you do this.
I only do this once a year.
You got lights in your bar?
Yes, it lights up to the music.
Oh my god! Can you guys see this? Can you guys see this? Johnny has gone all retro bar on me. Wow.
Yeah, check out. I bought something for the house.
No, this is not a 2 girls 1 cup thing. Stop that. Stop it.
Color organ.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, now I lost the sound. I hear you, Johnny.
Don't.
There you go.
Okay.
Johnny has to
my
wiggle the
turn.
wires. Okay, there we go. It's
So there it is. It lights up. It's got lights built into it. Is that awesome?
Nice. All I have to do is get a disco ball.
Yeah.
And I did one slightly better. Yeah. Took an old TV, horizontal and vertical wires, connected them to the sound system. Cool display.
Oh, there you go. That's something.
Cool display.
So yeah, it needs a little work, but it's functional as a bar. It's a countertop in good shape that one can make drinks on. I can tell it came from a house that had smoking in it. That's unpleasant when you get furniture home and you realize, oh no, it was a smoking house. So I got to try covering it in baking soda, letting it sit and vacuum it up a few times and see if that dissipates it. It's not overly powerful, but it's noticeable, so I think I can deal with that. I think I can.
I want to come over here.
No. Well, it depends on
You'll
the
have
type of
to
smoke.
choose you have to choose which smoke smell you like.
And not tobacco. But no, yeah. So it's actually I thought there were lights that had gone out in it because, as you can see, there are blank spots. But when I got it, it was not symmetrical, and it turns out that when I opened it up, there's basically a string of Christmas bulbs in it that are stapled in place, and they all light up, and there was this one extra white bulb that was on one side where there wasn't a white bulb on the other side, making the whole thing asymmetrical and look off. And so my first thought was, well, nothing's lighting up in the middle. Let's just move that in the middle. But no, I couldn't get that bulb to stretch to the middle. So I loosened the bulb, and it's symmetrical now.
Nothing like an easy solution, right?
Yeah. I think that's enough light bulbs. Let's see if I can get a good still shot with them lit up. I think it looks fine. I could put in a longer string of bulbs and try to fix it that way. But the radio
Now, is this a string of bulbs that just flash on its own randomly?
No, it flashes based on the sound. It
okay.
actually
Okay.
it's interesting because I did take the whole thing apart because like inside where the bulbs were is an area that's not accessible unless you start taking screws and panels out, which means nothing had seen the inside of that since the 70s, which means that there was some vacuuming up to do inside of there. So I cleaned this thing up real good like it's never been cleaned before, probably. And I found a blank key inside of it, and some of the screws that fell out. But yeah, as here I'll go ahead and put this on here again. As you can see, that's kind of how it lights up with a pattern. Now the live bar is covering up the bottom row of lights, but the bottom row of lights matches the top row of lights. You know, you got a red, blank, green, blank, red, white, yellow, blank, yellow, white, and then the bottom would also have red, blank, green, blank, red. It makes a nice pattern, and it flashes, and it's tied into the speakers. There are speakers that are built into the bar in the shelves to the left and the right, and there are wires that come out of the bar that go to the speakers, but they go through the lights to the speakers. So as long as you're sending sound to the built-in speakers, it lights up the lights. So if I, got a little amplifier and put like a Bluetooth adapter on it, I could send Bluetooth to the bar and make it light up the lights. Or I could continue using the built-in turntable AM FM radio. The 8-track deck doesn't work. The motor has completely seized up. So that either needs some work or needs to be replaced. So, but otherwise, it's a cool bar. And it came with a library of Portuguese music.
Wicked.
They said, "You want the records? We're going to throw them out." I'm like, all right, whatever.
But they're Portuguese language music?
Well, they're mostly Portuguese records, but there's also a few Christmas records and a Jim Neighbors record.
Oh, Jim Neighbors.
Yeah, stuff that I probably couldn't sell for $1, but there you go. It's a cool bar.
Yeah,
So
pretty nice.
I'm having fun with that. So you guys are ever in town, you can come over, and I need to get a few bar stools now, and then people could sit at the bar, and we could sit at the bar and have drinks.
So, do you have a bar stool behind the bar, or you just stand?
Right now I'm just standing. I mean, for the show I did yesterday, I was just standing. But I'd probably, if I get some bar stools, I'd probably put one behind the bar too. If we're all going to hang out at the bar,
well, if you get 4 bar stools, then you have 2 on the outside and 2 on the inside.
That would work.
Come pick me up. I'll hang.
I don't know. It's a ways to Ohio, though.
Not really. It's only about... Oh, wow. That did take a while.
What town are you in?
But Medina.
Medina?
Yep. Yeah, it was a 10-hour drive.
Is that a social disease?
That sounds like it. I seem to recall a song, Medina. No, that was the vagina song. Never mind.
There's something wrong in Medina. I think it's contagious.
So that's not pronounced Medina?
Nope. They went with Medina.
They went with
I don't know why either.
Yeah, that's a 10-hour drive for me.
You can tell the outsiders from the insiders, right? The people that say it wrong are the outsiders.
Right, right.
But I learned real quick.
That's a bit of a haul. I did the drive through Connecticut and New Jersey and Pennsylvania to get to Ohio. And then I'd have to turn around and do it. That'd be a 20.5-hour round trip.
We did it. They came up with the U-Haul. And it took about, oh God, man, it took 12 hours to load it. And then they had to drive back, all in one shot.
Yeah, that was a crappy day, I'm sure.
Yeah, in a blizzard.
Uphill both ways.
I was thinking the same thing, although I was going, wait a minute. But he's not only.
Yeah, we had to go through the mountains.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's some fun roads there. The Pennsylvania Turnpike has some fun areas.
Oh, it was I-80, but yeah. I saw some incredible scenery.
Oh, yeah, I guess 80 would be the better route to go. Yeah.
But something struck me as like, huh? They're saying that at one point on 80, they're saying that this one road, was pretty high up. They said it was only about 1,100 feet high, the tallest point in Pennsylvania. I'm like, what? Come on, even High Point was better than that.
Well, it's Pennsylvania. What do you expect?
Yeah, but that's where the mountain ranges are, the Appalachian Range. It should be.
Well, they're kind of worn down.
That's just odd.
Yeah, well, it's just Pennsylvania.
And don't look at me for topics. I'm pissed off, that at some astronomy stuff.
Astronomy?
I've been watching Sci-Fi Channel, since last night. And they're good things, good shows like, What the Universe is Made Of, NASA Secret Files, all that kind of stuff. And it's fantastic to watch. But a couple of things that they said were like, oh, you idiots.
Speaking of idiots,
you get.
I realize I've forgotten to bring up the YouTube because the Hangout doesn't show us a chat room. I have to actually bring up the YouTube video to see the chat room. So speaking of idiots, I'm being an idiot ignoring bring up the chat room. So let's see all the messages we've been missing here. Let's see. Dune and Bob. Dune wrote in XP, otherwise known as VenP. And then Dune said bye-bye. And then...
that's what we're talking about, the Orange Idiot, right?
You know what? A lot of people call Trump an idiot. And I think we spoke more about... We didn't speak politics as far as hateful things about policy, but we did talk about candidates, and we talked about things like that. So I'm not even sure what we could even say that Dune couldn't handle. I mean, I really think that we tried to keep it pretty mild here. But Shaz said, "Hey Johnny, haha. Oh boy, here we go. LOL. I don't know if we're getting ready to even go anywhere right now. I mean, I think we try to keep it pretty. Now, here's the thing: is this is a two-way road. If Dune does want to counter anything that we say, the lines.
He's totally welcome.
Skype is up. We'll take a call. We'll take any comments. We'll give them back probably, but we'll all still be friends at the end of it. We've proven this time and time again. I don't know. Maybe he didn't like us putting down Dan Quayle.
Or he has a thing for Sarah.
Palin. We were a bit mean about Palin. We were a bit mean there, but to be fair, she's Sarah Palin.
Exactly. Speaks for itself.
Yeah, really. I think Sarah Palin speaks for herself, and some people like that, and some people don't.
Did.
And some people prefer the porn version, Nailin Palin. Now, I've not seen that video. I've only heard of it. I think they got to look alike to do that, though. I don't know. Is that creepy to have a porn based on looking like someone else?
They do that all the time.
Well, they do that all the time, but that's the type of thing that even though I'm laughing about it, makes me cringe a little bit inside, because I'd imagine that's got to be really creepy for Sarah and her family. And as much as I rag on her, I don't want to. I don't think it's cool to make people feel creeped out.
But she doesn't have to watch it.
I mean, the name was
right,
funny,
so Trump gets on SNL because of the skits they do. Well, why does he watch it?
And that, I think a lot of it is in the spirit of fun. Sometimes, well, I mean,
on SNL.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they're just making fun. I mean, making fun of politics on SNL has been done to. I mean, heck, we had Chevy
Nixon.
Chase, Nixon, or we had Chevy Chase pretend to be Gerald Ford putting on the Easter parade to decorate the Christmas tree. So calling the president an idiot on Saturday Night Live ain't nothing new. It's what's new is a president actually getting pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And
a lot
try
of guys got thin skin.
Yeah, but his base seems to like him having thin skin, so maybe it's a strategy. Maybe it works for him, but
right.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is making a porn based on someone else. That might be crossing a line.
Why?
I mean, put yourself in Sarah's shoes.
Again, she may not even know about it because she doesn't watch that kind of stuff. Or maybe she does. And maybe she likes it.
Oh, anyone and everyone heard of Nailin' Palin. I mean, it was...
Oh, just the line, sure.
Yeah, and that it's a porn movie that was made with a Sarah Palin look-alike acting like Sarah Palin. And that makes me cringe.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons.
Or maybe it could have been her. You don't know.
I'd put money on it being not her. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, I would think.
Well, she is rambunctious.
I don't know. It's kind of similar to like pasting a celebrity's head on someone else's body to make fake naked pictures of someone to fulfill fantasies. That's kind of creepy. And yet we all know this exists.
Sure.
Oh, yes, it does.
See, Brian, this is what happened when you don't pick topics.
Yeah, that's right. We go randomly, but we tend to be good at random, aren't we?
Yeah, that's why we drag in hundreds and hundreds of listeners every week. Oh, wait.
That's right. How many are we up to right now?
2. We got 2.
Woo!
Which means either Dune tuned back in at some point and is regretting it, or someone else is watching it with Shaz and not writing in. So but being that we just talked about Nailin' Palin, I'm thinking Dune's still not tuned in.
Yeah.
Just a hunch.
Right.
Oh.
How's
Here's something random for you.
Okay.
Did you know that there is actually a star on a collision course or a solar system with our solar system?
Yes.
But where? Where is it going to collide in the solar system?
Gliese 7 is the name of the star.
Okay.
And it'll pass by at the edge of the Oort cloud.
The edge of the Oort cloud.
Mm-hmm. Or Oort cloud. Where all the comets lie.
Where the comets lie. So not Earth.
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll be fine.
But there was one problem though. When something like that happens, those comets and everything shift orbit and shift direction and start heading in here. We could be looking at another, what they call that before, something bombardment. Huge bombardment of asteroids and comets. And we suffered through that once before. That's why the moon's so cratered.
Okay.
And it will happen. But don't worry about it yet. It'll take 1.2 million years for it to get here.
So we have time to prepare.
Right. Move off the planet.
Yeah. 1.2 million years. You know what? I think I'm washing my hair that day.
And they'll have the planetary shields up by then.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Gonna have a special on barbecue.
Damn, this burger's good.
We can hear how lip smacking good that burger is.
Lip smacking.
Yeah, you got that coming right through loud and clear.
It's so tender and cheesy.
All right.
Yeah, burgers. Our next topic. Who likes burgers? You like burgers?
Yeah, burgers.
Dumb question.
So Shaz is saying, is the Trump thing done? Oh, thank you for reminding me. So another thing about Trump. Yeah, I think
it's fine that we're into burgers now.
Did the Trump thing even start? Really? I mean,
not really.
Which one?
Kind of a glancing blow.
I think the thing we talked the most about were the Democratic contenders coming up for the next election, and that was more about Bernie's age and things like that. that was about the extent of our political conversation this week.
Right.
Oh yeah, you're attacking him big time.
Shaz saying, "OMG, no." Now, Shaz, what's your deal? Are you just anti-politics, or are you pro-Trump, or are you anti-Trump? And we don't care either way. Now, we're anti-Trump, but I'm not one of those down with Trump backers. You want to back Trump, back Trump. Heck, I'm friends with people that. Shaz says, "Well, technically, you were talking about him." Well, why don't we shift topics to board games? You know who had a board game in the 80s?
Donald Trump?
Monopoly was favorite.
All right, Shaz wrote in, I don't do politics. Okay, so that's all it is. She just
That's cool.
No,
Cool.
You know what? Politics suck. Everyone, but
absolutely.
Shaz is Canadian. I don't have Trumps here. You know what?
Woohoo!
If Trump wins re-election, a lot of us are going to be Canadians. So might want to start building that wall now. So there you go. No, but actually, that is a good topic. Board games, because I a few weeks ago I played I bought this board game back when I was in college. So, sometime in the late 90s when eBay was a new thing, someone said, hey, you could buy stuff on this auction website. It's called eBay. You should check it out. And I went there and I signed up for an account. And the last question on the form was, where was your last Elvis sighting? This was literally a form I had to fill out to sign up for my eBay account. This was before they were publicly
How did you
traded.
answer that one? That's good.
At the local Wawa. Of course, I could. There was another silly question, but I don't remember it anymore. I only remember the Elvis sighting one. And I found I went looking for things relating to some of my favorite bands like Vanilla Fudge, or things 8-track tapes. Stuff like that, And at some point, I would look up things relating to KTEL, which is another thing that I would collect things of. And this board game turned up. And it's the... here, I'm just going to go ahead and screen share. And so I bought this board game. It's the KTEL Superstar game. The original rock and roll
Board
music
games
game.
and KTEL.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
And he grabbed it immediately.
Yeah, that's really cool. And over here you can see we got the board set up and pawns on the board, and there's pink cards and blue cards and money. And it also comes with a 45 record, which is on the turntable. And the record's a very short record, and it has 3 sets of grooves. So when you put the needle down, you don't know which set of grooves it's going to hit. Because at times during the game, the idea of the game is you're a rock star or you're a rock band. And so you land on different squares, and it might be like your equipment breaks down, pay this much unless you have it insured. Or, you perform at a show, you get this much money. But some of the squares give you the option to release a record. And if you decide to release a record, you then play the 45, and one of the grooves tells you that it's a flop. The other set of grooves tells you that it's a break even, and the other set of grooves says it's a hit. And so if it's a hit, you get money. If it's break even, nothing happens. And if it's a flop, then you owe money. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most money wins. And it was actually pretty fun. And the record part was fun too. So yeah, we had a good time playing that. Seth was over, and yeah. So I finally, Seth came over. We were gonna do dim sum on Saturday, but it snowed, and so we're like, fuck this, we're not leaving the house. And so I was like, well, I got board games, but I don't have the Trump board game, but I could probably look up pictures of it, and just for Shaz. I bet you that's a collectible now. Oh my God, we're gonna have to screen share this. People have the commercial for it. Here we go.
Everything's set for tonight, Mr. Trump. I wonder what Trump's game is this time. Trump's got a new game. Trump's got a new deal. What's your game, Donald? Heard about Trump's new deal? What? Trump has a new game. What is it? Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, please. My new game is Trump, the game.
Trump, the game where you deal for everything you've ever wanted to own. Because it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether you win.
Yes!
Play Trump, the game from Milton Bradley.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, whose idea?
He even appears in it.
Whose idea was that?
Trump's.
See, the thing that irritates me about that ad is that it really didn't show you what the game was like.
No, it
Right.
didn't all that much. Not really, no. Well, it's probably, about as good as, Trump Steaks or Trump University or,
Right.
He probably had nothing to do with it. People designed it, told him, yeah, it's a winner. He stamped his name on it, showed up in a commercial, and waited for the money to roll in.
Too bad the whole thing failed.
Yeah, no, I know. Anyways, so there's a board game. I wonder what those sell for now. I bet you people are buying them on eBay so they can light them on fire. Let's see. Oh, actually, you can get one for like $25. Oh, there's more than one Trump game though, or there's more than one box design for it. Oh, there's one that's from the You're Fired era. So I wonder if it's just the same game reissued or not. You can find cheap copies of it, although I don't know if they're complete or not, because there's some copies that have high price tags on them too. Thank you, Venison.
That was weird.
We can smell that.
A hiccup and a burp at the same time.
We noticed.
Damn, this mic is sensitive.
If you farted at the same time, you'd have the, like the perfect storm.
Well, you missed a fart before.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gators was talking so much you didn't hear it.
Well,
Silent but deadly.
We didn't have it properly mic'd, so.
I turned around
the plane there
right
at
at it.
What was that? I missed it.
I said I turned it around and pointed right at it.
Oh, why would you do that?
Because I could.
Well, the joke's on you because you turn around, fired in the microphone so we could hear it, and then you turn around and put this microphone you just farted on right in your face, right in front of your nose.
Don't you know that your own farts smell pretty good?
Yeah, but I don't want them up close. I don't want my microphone to smell like my farts.
That's why
not?
You need a second mic. Right?
Yeah. Why bother? This way, you know that mic is yours and nobody else will mess with it.
It's like a cat marking its territory.
Yeah.
But with farts.
That's an idea.
No, it's not.
That's not necessarily a good idea, but it's an idea.
All right, I guess you got me there.
Yeah.
You got me there.
Now, I wonder how many people will do it. Actually, I've heard at least 3 people fart their microphones on air. So, that's their microphone now.
Well, I mean, those that know their NHB radio history know that Video Vamp has gone down in history in the lamest ways of trying to raise money for telethons. The prime example of that being the drinking very strong coffee for donations.
God.
Yeah, because he got Death Wish coffee, which is strong coffee. It's like twice as strong as the other coffee. So for every cup of coffee he drinks for donations, it's like he drank 2 cups. But then the next year after that, he came up with another winner, which was that he bought a bunch of cans of beans and was going to have Kevin eat beans for donations. And they had a second mic set up at his back to mic his ass, so that as he would eat the beans throughout the show for donations, he'd be farting into the microphone.
Okay, Blazing Saddles all over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Beans by the cart. The more you eat, the more you fart.
Yeah, that's how it works. So we've reached the fart portion of the show, I guess.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Huh?
Were you gonna turn that into something about farts, or you just...
yeah, it was just kind of a loose end.
Well, I mean, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, they are big, flaming balls of gas. So, I mean, it is kind of like a burning fart in the sky, right?
And when those solar flares come off, ooh boy.
So, in your sci-fi stuff, Venison, are you into UFOlogy?
Not really. I look at it that's interesting, but you got to weed through the hoaxes to what's actually true. And then you got that, that one thing where, the department of the government that does this, when it said that, they do, release true UFO data, but they pack it in with the conspiracy site, so nobody will know the difference. That's sneaky. That's real sinky. But I've seen some real interesting, probably made up, UFO videos.
Yeah, to me, it's just a curiosity. I don't, shall we say, believe in, and I don't disbelieve. But there is a storyline. When you hear people making up a story about UFOs, they're usually actually taking it out of some existing UFOlogy thing, right?
Maybe.
Well, they usually are. Now, do you get the History Channel?
Unfortunately, no. I can't afford that package.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's like on the Science Channel, which is good enough.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, the History Channel has a series called the Project Blue Book. And that's not bad because the center of the story is this team of this Air Force captain, pilot, and this professor. And the professor's character is this real live guy that was on Project Blue Book, during the 50s and 60s. And the story comes out of his notes from what actually happened and what they saw. And there's a lot of cool intrigue. In fact, you hear a lot of standard stories. The whole idea of swamp gas came from this guy. The whole idea of in fact, the whole series of the Close Encounters of the First Kind, the Second Kind, the Third Kind.
Right.
That came from this professor. He invented that. And we all use that. So it's kind of a cool thing. Oh, that's where this came from. And some of these stories of these abductions and sightings also came out of, the work that he was involved in. And his mission was to say, this is not a UFO. We have a natural thing that can explain this, which is what the swamp gas is. Right? There's other phenomena that are involved in the explanations of what people saw. So it's kind of cool, kind of interesting. And you got this interesting intrigue because there are these Russian spies that are in the story. It's like, what the hell? It's kind of a cool series.
The best UFO thing that I saw, it still has me intrigued. And they did not deny it. There's a video somewhere, I found on YouTube years ago. This UFO in Mexico City. And it looked like it was trying to, it was having trouble, getting the motor started and gaining altitude. You can see it wobble around a bit. But it finally caught on and then zooms away. But this thing was over the city long enough for them to, to hit the air raid sirens. And the whole 9 yards, people just looking at it and say, whoa! But it was quite clear. Nothing blurry. You could see the craft itself quite well. It wasn't that far. And, it makes you go, okay, nobody doctored this video. Explanation, please?
Right.
They didn't come up with one.
The way the lens flare.
That's what it was. You should have been on the team there, Johnny.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That's lens flare.
Yeah. That was lens flare.
Telling you.
Unfortunately, close to 1 million people saw it.
They were looking through the same lens. They had glasses on. Glass flare.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah.
Now here's a topic that I think was recently being discussed, although I think it was decided to go ahead and do it. There was the whole topic of, well, we could try to send a strong signal out into space or try to send a message to intelligent life out there, and let them know that we're here. And I think the question that came up for debate was, yeah, we could, but should we? Is that really a good idea, or are we just inviting ourselves for some kind of horrible invasion or destruction or enslavement or something?
Yeah, we went through this already.
Well, we get what we deserve, right?
Well, no, I don't think we deserve to be destroyed or invaded by another species. I don't know.
Or we're invited to dinner by the aliens, right?
Oh,
and
why
then we
not?
find out that we are dinner.
Yeah, there is that, and we don't want to find that out. So I mean, where do you land on on? Do you think it's a good idea to be trying to establish contact with other life out there, or do you think we're better off just trying to stay under the radar?
Until we get planetary shields, you might want to stay under the radar. Because
but here's the thing, though. So, like, one of the possible places where there is life is in the star system Vega. Vega is 25 light years away. Right?
Right.
Which means if you send the signal out, it'll be 25 years for the signal to get there. And then, of course, for an answer, there's another 25 years.
Unless they have the capability of answering faster.
Well, we'd have to be able to receive that type of signal, though.
Oh, they could just show up and ring the doorbell.
Right. That's true. They come up close and personal. But even still, you send the signal out, and who says that they aren't getting air signals already? I mean, they could be watching, well, what happened 25 years ago. They could be watching some TV show that we sent out 25 years ago.
I don't think those signals survive that far into
Well, it
space.
depends on their ability to receive signals, right? To have a humongous array.
For them to
and that's what we're doing as well. We're putting up these huge arrays of antennas to receive these very faint signals. Paul Allen from Microsoft was involved in a project where he was funding some of these big arrays, essentially to listen to alien life or extraterrestrial life.
Right.
You know.
But so far there was only the WOW signal, which we never heard again.
And
right,
the other
exactly, right. And that was early on.
And the other signal was they refused to release because we were dissed big time. I read this somewhere, where they did receive a signal. It seemed to be coming from around Titan, and they actually sent a signal. Could you say that again? We didn't quite get it. They got a reply. We weren't talking to you. That's all they... It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that falls under urban legend. I don't think that one's a real one. I mean, it's a nice story.
I don't know if it is or not. I can't remember the article or where it came from.
Let's see. New allegations have come forward that SETI and NASA intercepted a coded message from Jupiter's moon Ganymede in the 80s. They couldn't figure it out, so they sent a message back. Eventually, it was decided to send a signal to the exact location that the message was coming from on Ganymede. The message would be sent in Morse code, which was considered to be the easiest for an alien civilization to decode. It would read, "We have received your signal, but we do not understand it. Please resend your signal using this language and transmission code." Immediately after this message was sent, the mysterious signal from Ganymede ceased its transmission, so everyone assumed that we would receive a new signal in Morse code in a quick period of time. But day after day, and then week after week, no signal came, and officials began to give up hope actually receiving a response. Finally, after more than a month, a signal was detected coming from the original radio source on Ganymede, and incredibly, it was in Morse code. Eagerly, NASA scientists translated our first direct contact with alien civilization, and it said, "We were not talking to you." Now this says that. Now this says nope, but then it says a Google search reveals it. So this doesn't tell me. I'm trying to find something that proves or disproves it. No. All right, I need to Google this further because this is not giving me a clear answer on if it happened or not. I mean, that sounds to me like urban legend.
Right.
Let's see.
Better.
I mean I don't. It doesn't make sense to me because I think we've pretty much confirmed there's not life on the moons of Jupiter.
Of course not. They were just visiting. They were doing something there. Who knows what? But with stuff like that comes from our own system was done by visitors, because nobody that can do that, send signals, can be living anywhere else in this solar system. It's
it depends on the chemistry that they're using.
Okay, so someone who analyzes this story goes through it and goes, well, Morse code is fine if you speak English. It seems an odd assumption that the aliens understand English, considering 500 languages are broadcast over TV and radio every day. Now, the whole...
that's why it took a month.
The whole "we were not talking to you" response, now that's just rubbish. Talking to you as it opens one mouth in an oxygen environment and talk in someone's ear rather than exchange electronic communication. Obviously, this alien has used human metaphor expressions, which suggests there's really some wag at NASA playing a practical joke.
Or somebody else. I mean, I don't know what frequencies they're transmitting, but you have lots of people that have radio gear that can probably do it.
I mean, come on.
You have one of the hobbies of ham radio operators is to bounce a signal off the moon.
Which saves a lot. But I mean, come on. Like I said, they said it took a month for them to get that. Probably took them long enough to learn the language, tune into our radio mess that's going on this planet, and checking out how we respond to each other. So yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. This story, I don't see any official reputable websites reporting this story. I really think this is urban legend.
Yeah, because they covered it up. They don't want anybody to know about it. Come on, man. That's embarrassing as hell.
Of course.
I mean, after all, they weren't talking to us.
Of
and
course.
They basically said it in such a way. We weren't talking to you. As in, mind your own business.
Big mass cover-up.
Of course, they always do. Anything that has to do with UFOs and what have you, they cover it up.
Yeah, but then the story wouldn't have ended there. They would have. I mean, if you get a reply back from someone, you still reply back and try to establish contact.
No, you're not going to try to establish contact because they said we weren't talking to you. Go away.
The message,
you're not trying to establish contact.
The message didn't say we were not talking to you. Go away. It just said we were not talking to you. So you can reply back. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Hey, would you like to go grab a coffee or something sometime?
And we got ignored after that.
But the story doesn't report any further attempts of trying to establish contact. You would think that if these projects exist specifically to establish contact, that they would continue trying to establish contact.
Yeah, they probably did. but like I said, got ignored.
Then how come that wasn't reported in the story?
Because, like I said, they got, probably because they haven't tried to do further contact, until after that story was leaked out. And they clamped on it afterwards.
So we got another viewer in the room. A guy by the name of Brandon Cleary has tuned in to let us know that he has crabs. Now, I don't know, crab can be delicious. You like crab, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Sauce?
Yeah, what kind of crab?
I don't know, but he also has...
King crab is the best.
He's also saying he has AIDS. I guess those are to, assist him and help him prepare the crab into a nice, good meal.
Yeah, totally logical.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure what that has to do with intelligent life form in the universe. We've yet to find it here on this planet, so I don't know where else we're going to find it. Right. But there we go, crabs and AIDS, just like Bob used to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next.
Might want to go have that taken looked at by the doctor.
Come on, Brian. You're supposed to be hosting the show.
I'm just being amused here. Being amused.
You're amused by the crabs and the AIDS.
Yes, that's right. Amused.
You're easily amused.
Oh, totally. God, is he ever.
Well, I read a funny story. Apparently, there was a. This goes back to the book club recommendations, because we have the
insert title here,
book club, where we recommend books to read, and I've continued reading, what's that, On the Road. Did you buy that one? Have you bought any of the books I've recommended, Brian?
Oh, I was going to. I must have forgotten. I'll have to do that because I think I put them on a book list.
Yeah. Well, I've been I finished reading The Road to Moonlight Feels Right, which was totally worth reading and entertaining. But I'm also currently reading Life on the Road: The Incredible Rock and Roll Adventures of Dinky Dawson, which I've now got to the part where he was a roadie for Fleetwood Mac in their early days. When Pete Green was in the band, and then after Pete Green left, he got a opportunity to do some work with the Byrds, which turned into a full-time job. And the latest chapter I read was talking about this some kind of event was going on for CBS Records in the Bahamas, and the Byrds are going to play at that. So he had to go out there with them to run the sound and all that. And they get out there, and there's all these salespeople and business people that are having their presentations and things like that. And someone in one of the bands spikes all their wine with LSD. Apparently, it was one heck of a party with all the sales and executives. Apparently, there was a table of the people that ran the classical label. They're just all staring at their hands for the all night. So I thought that was a pretty amusing story.
Definitely.
Yeah. So interesting times. I don't think you can get away with that today.
Oh, shit. Oh, boy.
Okay.
What's up, Edison?
Yeah, looking at a brief thing about the Trump's budget, and this guy has just got 1.5 trillion cut from Medicaid, 845 billion from Medicare, and 25 billion from Social Security.
Yeah, but that was DOA, so I don't think that even means anything.
Well, it means that that's what he'd like to do. which is important for all the times that he promised not to cut these programs.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're not here to talk about politics.
Shit. Lying bastard.
You froze again, Johnny. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
It's just YouTube.
Well, I think that scared Shaz away. So, but that's okay.
Okay.
Because Brandon and his crabs and AIDS are still here. So, we can see what he thinks of Trump's budget.
And he's probably from some different country, so
I don't know. With the crabs and the AIDS, you probably need that Medicare coverage. So cutting the budget for that, not good for him.
Right.
Huh.
Huh?
Huh.
Well, I think you were right, Brian. We are going to set the record for dead air.
Yeah. Before you got into the books, I was thinking about something. But then as that thing went on, it's like, gone.
Okay. All right.
And I have no idea what it was. I don't think it was related to books.
Okay.
Don't you hate that? Or does
Yeah.
that ever happen to you?
What were we talking about?
Books. Your book suggestions from before.
No, I was just mimicking that happening to answer your question.
Right. Right. Of course you were. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Wait, what?
What? Hey, Venison, what?
What? What?
What? We'll have a what fest.
Okay.
What?
All right. How much longer can we do this before, like, the listener counts goes into the negative?
Right. That's right. What? Do you watch Seth Meyers at all?
Do I watch what?
Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers. I see clips of him on YouTube now and then, but I haven't in a while.
He has this person on the show that does Amber Says What.
Oh.
And of course, it's clever. Clever. Of course, and then again, they have writers because, they're professionals.
Right. It may surprise you viewers out there to know, but we also have writers on this show. And in fact, I'm reading off of a teleprompter right now. I don't know why the writers wrote this part in there. I guess they're looking for some acknowledgement or something. Yet they continue to have me talking as if I'm talking about them myself, but this is totally scripted right now. So,
and they planned the dead air.
Yeah. They also had the time codes written in there. I don't know where I was going with this. I don't know. The cats are our writers, obviously, because they are the intelligent life forms in this house.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's a terrible thing to say.
Oh, come on. If you ever had a cat, you have a cat, they're above us. They're operating on another plane of existence. and it's somewhere above us. Although they do shit in sandboxes kept in the living room or wherever they are. So that kind of knocks them down a peg in that.
You know why they do? You know why they do? You know why they shit in the box in the living room?
Why is that?
Because we put the box in there for them to do it. And so they can say, you know what? You're going to have a box in the living room for me to shit in? I'm going to freaking use it.
Yeah, well, we have them in multiple rooms in the house, but
right.
We want to have one somewhere downstairs, and I don't know. We're gonna try to incorporate something into a piece of furniture to be out of the way, but we haven't quite figured that plan out yet. But at least we figured out which type of wet food results in the least stink, so we got that going for us.
Right on. Right on. Not that we, know anything or care anything about cats.
I'm surprised you don't have cats. You're so into cats.
Well, part of it is allergies. Some cats I'm okay with, some cats I'm not. When I was kind of helping Nick out, I'd visit his place, and for some reason, I'm very allergic to his cats.
Ah.
But this friend of mine has cats, and they were fine.
Well, you could always, go to a shelter, spend time with a cat, and see if you have violent reactions or not. And,
right.
And then just keep trying and trying again.
Because I'm going to have to rent this cat for a couple of days, although it'll probably just take an hour to figure it out.
Yeah, you just spend an hour playing with they'll let you spend time with the cat before you sign papers.
Right.
And then you can have
time with cats.
And you have to go, and what's your return policy?
Usually they have return policies, as in you can return it and we keep your money. That's the return policy.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, they're a shelter. If you don't want the cat, you bring it to the shelter. I don't know if you get a refund or if you do an exchange or what. I mean, that probably varies from shelter to shelter.
Well, they'll probably nicely say, and we'll accept that as your donation.
Yeah, although the shelter I went to, the reason I got a second cat was because they were giving them away to clear out the area because they had a donation to have the cat enclosure area redone. So they needed to empty out the cat enclosure area. So they had a weekend of free cat adoptions. So that's and everyone and their mother came out for a cat that weekend, of course. So we got there. That's how we ended up with because we were saying, well, we're thinking getting a second cat, so we want a cat that gets along with other cats. And they're like, well, we had this one cat who's very shy, if you could be patient. But she did live with another cat in the past, so that should be fine. And that's how we got the second cat, Hestia. And so, yeah, she was in a cage and a blanket up in front of it because she was that shy. So, I mean, we didn't even see her. Before we really took a leap of faith there. It was like, okay, give us a carrier, we'll take her home and let her hide someplace for the next week or so.
So you didn't see this cat until you got it home.
Well, we did see the cat's eyes. So we knew the cat had eyes. Like they opened up the cage door.
And you knew it wasn't an armadillo.
Yeah. They opened up the cage door and they let us sit outside the cage and kind of peek in and suggested that we, hang out a little bit, maybe blink a little bit. But we could not get any blinking back from the cats. But we basically knew it was, a large black cat with big eyes. Mostly a cat with eyes. But we didn't know anything about this cat except that, she was very shy and just wanted to hide and very scared. I mean, she's definitely been coming out of her shell, but she's definitely got a skittish, nervous personality, and I think she always will. But she's
probably.
Yeah. I mean, she's at the point where she very cautiously will at times walk around downstairs for a short period of time before she gets spooked and runs back upstairs. So,
a real scaredy cat.
Yeah, no, yeah, she is. She's easily scared.
But then there's that cat, that comes around through a couple of apartments here, especially in my door. I've been tempted, but I can't afford one for food and, sanitary stuff, veterinary bills, etc. But this was a cool cat. He just came up to me, started rubbing all of my legs and stuff. I bent down, he got up on two legs and, and rubbed my face and all. He was marking me as his, apparently.
That's right, exactly.
Property of cat.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And one time, like I said, I opened the back door. There he was, and he ran to his apartment. And I was like, "What?" And he went and looked around each room. Then came back out, gave another rub, saying, okay, it's okay. it passes and left. I was like, yeah, okay, you're weird.
Well, it's like, go ahead.
Was looking for that litter box in the living room.
It's like, hey, there's no place for me to shit here. I'm done. You didn't put a box in the living room for me to shit in.
Not in this living room.
Oh, it's like, go ahead.
No, I can't. I got various smells that are going here already. I don't need that one.
Well, my favorite cat story like that was Sir Mars's cat story, where Sir Mars came home one day and goes to his apartment. I guess the cat was at his door, and Sir Mars, being visually impaired, had no clue that the cat followed him in, and so he's in the apartment getting settled in, whatever. Goes into the kitchen and he hears a meow in like the sink. He's like, "Oh, how'd you get in here?"
Never mind how I got in here. Feed me.
Yeah. No, apparently it was the chocolate-covered pineapple that we brought back from Hawaii for him, and was meowing and trying to get in the box.
Wait a minute. Chocolate-covered pineapple?
Yeah. Well, Mars was nice enough to watch the guinea pigs for us when we went to Hawaii, so we bought him a box of chocolate-covered pineapple.
So was the cat actually interested in the food item, or was he interested in the box?
Yes.
Chocolate-covered pineapple.
Yeah, pineapple chunks covered with chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, you got chocolate-covered strawberries. What's the difference, right?
Yeah, chocolate-covered fruit's a thing.
I think it's totally logical.
Yeah.
Flavor. I don't think I could see that doing that to a pineapple. Pineapple is one of those things that should be eaten by itself and not put on pizza.
No. If you're going to put pineapple on pizza, make it chocolate-covered pineapple.
Yeah.
No, I guess not. Maybe not.
I wonder how many pizza places would absolutely go ballistic over that.
But we did, because one of the things we did in Hawaii was we went on a tour of the Dole pineapple plant farm field, whatever. They had a little train ride, go around the pineapple fields, and it was interesting. It was an outing.
It was a train ride.
Yeah.
Totally cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you done that out in Hawaii?
Wine country first.
So you were on Oahu for that train ride?
I think that one was on Oahu. There's
a sugar cane train in Maui. I've done that one a long time ago. In fact, we went by there this last trip, and we saw the train, but we never saw it moving. So it may be shut down. I don't know.
Well, when have you last been to Oahu?
It's been quite a while.
You just
half a dozen years or so more.
You did Oahu, then you did Maui, and you were like, well, we'll just keep doing Maui.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Damn. This pissed me off. I can't think of anything.
Well, that's okay. We only got like 5 minutes left here.
Yeah, but, I couldn't think of anything a whole show. And I'm surprised.
Well, you talked plenty about your smells.
Okay, so let's talk about our title a little bit. So the origin of the title is kind of like, there's this restaurant that's, the name of the restaurant was No Signboard. Because they didn't know couldn't figure out what to put on the sign.
Right.
So that kind of adapted to our idea of...
Insert title here.
You got it. But
I never heard that.
The nice thing about that title is it could be like the name of a restaurant. It could be somebody's ad. It could be a title of a book. It could be a title of some music.
Right. It could be anything.
In other words, it can be kind of anything we want. And if we want, we could declare a particular piece of music to be the title of the week. If that's what we wanted to do.
Could be a title of a good porno.
Could be that too.
This week's title is Nailin' Palin, which makes us cringe.
Yes. Now, if you could get the audio and play that audio of Nailin' Palin.
No.
Okay.
That would probably require the video also being up on my screen. And out of respect to people who I generally don't respect, I will not be viewing the fake Sarah Palin porn. I have standards.
Well, we could isolate just the audio clip and play that as the name of the show. Maybe
there's a theme song for Nailin' Palin. Let's see. Oh my God. I did one search, clicked on one link, and I think Nailin' Palin's about to come up on my screen. All right, so there's our title right there. Now, I don't know if this is the real Nailin' Palin or not, because this chick doesn't look like Sarah Palin. But she is showing me her boobs right now.
Uh-oh.
You know, the inside stories behind that song could work for this show.
So there we go. There's our title we've inserted there. The possible porn music to Nailin' Palin, or porn music to just another clip that's labeled Nailin' Palin. You decide.
Because the guy wanted to go for views, so he used that title.
And now
which is why we would use that title too.
Now she's showing off her butt. Oh, now we're back to boobs. So where were we going with this, Brian? Because there's porn on my screen now, so you're gonna do the talking.
Yes, which I cannot see because it's not sharing a screen, which is okay.
Yeah, I don't think
we don't want YouTube to knock us off the air.
YouTube said no.
Yeah.
But you can't see my.
Okay, now the bottle of lube's coming out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she's lubing up her breastises. I don't know why. I guess this is where the titty fucking comes in.
Possibly.
Anyways, Brian, you were saying?
I remember.
Do you need me to send you a link?
No, that's all right.
Okay, now her hand's going down there.
Uh-oh.
And so far, this is a solo video.
Right.
All right, so you're talking about inserting the title, and the title could be music, or title could be...
There you go. That was the topic. Yes.
And this is the music that we got for the title.
At least potentially. Has chosen. Sounds like it could work. In fact, it probably has... That actually sounds like a rhythm on any rhythm box, right?
Pretty much.
Are you going to get flagged for copyright because of that? I don't think so.
Well, at this point, the soundtrack has changed a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, someone else is coming to frame. He's wearing a lot more clothes than she is, though. But she's taking care of that right now.
I think we lost Venison.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
And now she's going to suck on that.
Oh, by the way, we could let that go on, and we could talk over it a little bit. But do you recall the CD that came out on the from the Beatles, the Let It Be Naked?
Yes, I remember that.
Did you ever get that?
Yes, I bought that.
Yeah, okay. I bought that too, and in fact, I was playing that when I was, driving south. And I go, oh, this is interesting. I didn't really see anything that jumped out about how different it was. But then it says, oh, wait a minute, there is a disc 2. Let me play that.
Oh, you've just found disc 2, which is...
I don't think I ever played that before, but that was very interesting. It's actually mostly talking with a little bit of music in there, here and there.
It's the fly
including
on the
this
wall.
little piano solo. What was that? Minuet of Death or something?
I haven't listened to that in a while because it's interesting, but it's one of those one time type of things. It's the fly on the wall CD, so you kind of like
fly on
hear
the wall, right?
bits and pieces of what's going on in the studio and the making of.
And there were some interesting little deals. There was one little thing about Ringo didn't want to tour overseas, so therefore they didn't. And then there's other little bits that are kind of like, oh, that's interesting. Oh. Were they just teasing like I Am the Walrus? Or was this, real thing that was going on? Oh, like one of the other things that was interesting. So you take a song, let's say Paul writes this song. So this is his song. He has this vision of doing it one way. Well, you bring in the other musicians and it changes to be kind of the way that the band would play it. And you kind of get the sense that one reason why the Beatles split up is each guy couldn't have it his own way. You had to have a compromise, and they were just getting tired of that.
Yeah, and I mean, there was the infamous scene in the Let It Be movie where Paul's trying to teach the guys a song, and he's George isn't quite doing how he sorry,
how he sneezed.
Yeah, and Paul was like, telling what and it was, it's like, what, tell me what it is you want me to do, whatever it is that would please you, or I could just not play at all. And it's like, these guys are having like an argument right in front of the camera here.
Yeah.
And I look at that, and there's no shouting match. There's some, words being exchanged back and forth, and maybe they're a bit frustrated, but I always felt like, maybe that was blown out of proportion, the way people analyze that. To me, it's just, working something out in the studio.
Sure.
I think the real shit that went down in the Let It Be sessions didn't happen on camera or on tape. And there are stories about those, and how accurate they are or aren't, we don't know. But, I mean, there was a period of time that, what was it, George actually quit at one point.
And Ringo had quit at one point.
Ringo,
and
yeah.
And came back.
And we don't see the dialogue that led up to those moments. But what Let It Be, that was like Paul's idea. Paul had this idea that we'll go in and rehearse a bunch of new songs, and we'll get a bunch of cameras all over the place. And I don't, they got some good songs out of it. They got an album's worth of stuff out of it, although they had to send all the tapes to Phil Spector to work with. I don't think they ever finished an album themselves out of it, which is, which also controversial, hence the Let It Be Naked. Hey, let's try to rework this some, which even that has its critics as well. Not a happy time for the Beatles.
No.
But then they got back in the studio, recorded an album the old way like they used to, and put Abbey Road together.
Right.
But they knew that was a farewell.
Oh, this traveling around idea where Ringo says no. They talk about playing in different studios in different scenarios. Not even necessarily, their own portable studio. there are musicians that set up a studio in the back of a van.
Right.
Right. All these different things. Yet the Beatles kept going back to the EMI studios, even though they wanted to do something different. Maybe because it was all their equipment was there. Maybe it was the people that were there. Maybe something about it. They had to go back.
Maybe it was a contract.
Well, I mean, it's normal for bands to record in different studios all over the place, but the Beatles tend to stick around at Abbey Road. That is interesting. I never thought about that, really. It just seemed to be the way it was.
Yeah, but to me, I got Abbey Road. That was their studio, wasn't it?
Well, it was...
In this conversation, they called it the EMI studio.
Right, it was EMI studio. So, I mean...
Which is interesting.
Heck, this was probably recorded in the same building as the Beatles were recording in. I mean, I think Syd Barrett's Pink Floyd was recording Piper at the Gates of Dawn while the Beatles were recording Sgt. Pepper. Or the White Album. Or, I don't know. They were both working in the studio at the same time. They were crossing paths.
Right.
But anyways, I think we've reached the end of another show. And we have lots of other entertainment throughout the week. Tomorrow you can tune in to a Video Vamp and Kevin Chicken Fingers on the ADHD radio. That's tomorrow, Tuesday, 6 to 8 Eastern. And then on, I think we have Derailment Radio back on Fridays. So stay tuned for more information about that. And Saturday night, Dune does the 5-hit, but that's only on his, his video streaming channels. So check out, Twitch for 5-hit Dune. And then Sunday, we do the Dune and Bob show. And we don't talk about Trump. And we don't... First rule of the Dune and Bob show, we do not talk about Trump. The second rule of the Dune and Bob show, we do not talk about Trump. Third rule of the Dune and Bob show, if he gets impeached, I'm so going to say something. So stay tuned for that.
I think we all will.
Might be something like, hey, how about that news? But
it's fake news.
Fake news. Fake news. He's still president. That whole impeachment thing, fake news. Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
Witch hunt.
Yeah, we still got a Republican-controlled Senate, though, so I don't know if everything could get through. But a lot of
Hopefully
dirt.
not for long.
Well,
anyways,
apparently Pelosi said today something to the effect of, "It's not worth going after him. He's not worth it."
Yeah, right.
Now, I didn't see the context of that or how far she'd go with that, but it's like, what?
I need more details because the House is completely going after him. But then there is the question of, is going after him bringing disfavor onto the Democrats, or is it riling up their support?
Or does it matter?
Now here's the thing.
I mean, how many times did the Republicans vote to eliminate Affordable Care Act?
Well, it would be
70 times, 80 times.
And that was ridiculous, but it would be fair to say this was policy that we wanted, whereas the Democrats are just attacking a politician that they don't like. Which, they're attacking him because...
But Republicans do all the time,
but
and then blame on the Democrats.
And to which we respond, no, they're investigating him because there's evidence that he's committed crimes. Such as treason.
No, people, it's not about politics or shit like that. It's about saving the country. Saving where you live.
Well, anyways, on that note, I don't want to spend too much time on that, so let's just go around the room and talk about what we learned. Nothing about Trump allowed in this.
No need.
So, Venison, what have you learned?
I've learned I should never take a hit before.
I think we got the rest of that. Thank you.
All right. That's better. I just had to drink the tea. You got that down. No. But if anything, I'm more, what I've learned is I very rarely could come here with absolutely nothing, but I did. And I'm pissed off about that.
And
that's unusual.
That is.
Yeah, I agree.
It is. And I've learned that when I let Brian host the show, somehow we end up playing porn.
How did that happen?
Now, the host of our show, to wrap it up, Brian, what have you learned?
So what I learned is I've got this old mechanical clock, runs by batteries. Move the time forward 1 hour for daylight savings time, and now the clock does not operate. It quit working. So here's where I agree with Trump. Did you hear he announced he thinks we should go to permanent daylight savings time? And I agree with him on it. There's one thing I can agree with him on.
Well,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm in favor of that.
Yeah.
Let's just pick a time.
So
and
we're
stick
gonna
with
we're gonna celebrate Trump for bringing that up, because no other politicians don't. The closest to it was George W. Bush came up and says, "Hey, let's change the dates. Let's expand daylight savings time." But to me, it's the same pain in the ass, just different dates.
Which also resulted in us scrambling to get Microsoft patches in, so everyone's Outlook calendar wasn't fucked up.
Right.
Thanks, W.
Thanks, W.
But no, you know what? If Trump wants credit for actually doing something decent, I'll let him have that one. Get rid of daylight savings time, know. But I think the problem is that is considered to be a regional thing, and it's up to regions whether or not they want to have it or not.
Well, yes and no, but then why did George W. Bush have the ability to make that date change? Everybody had to go along with it.
Well,
right?
No, everyone didn't have to go along with it. Everyone that honors daylight savings time had to go with it.
Well, sure.
But not every place has to have daylight savings
time.
Sure,
that didn't affect Arizona at all. Woohoo, winner.
Right. So, I mean, I think that's, as a Republican, Trump should be against instituting a federal policy of doing away with it, because it's up to the regions, it's up to the states if they want to have it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Massachusetts has talked about wanting to have daylight savings time year-round, but you can't legally do that. What you could do is not have daylight savings time, and then if we want to actually have the effect of having daylight savings times year-round, we'd have to switch time zones. And so that would be the plan, to get rid of daylight savings time and go on Atlantic time, which...
Here you go.
Yeah, but if Massachusetts does that, then our time's going to be off from surrounding states, and I want to be on the same time as New Jersey.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things, though, that it's hard to get traction on little things like that.
Oh, true. Very true.
Wait, who are those people again who are off, whose time is off by half an hour?
Yeah, I don't recall, but yeah,
there's somewhere
some oddballs.
Yes, there is.
Time zones be crazy.
Time's all relative anyway. It's just a construct.
Does anybody really know what time it is? Speaking of which, it's 10:15 right now. So
Why
yes,
don't we do it
Yes,
in
we
the road? Thump. I still like that.
That's what happens.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to say, Brian?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. I'm at a loss of words.